Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome into Sports Daily. It is Jacob Albrock, Tommy Castor. It is a Monday, a Reaction Monday, big Reaction Monday. All kinds of fun to get to today. Of course, we've got to talk about the Chiefs. We've got to talk about KU, K-State football. We got to talk about all the college basketball from the weekend, including a big college basketball showdown tonight. It is a wild and crazy time of the year. Happy Thanksgiving week. And for all those who needed to magically find childcare because schools decided we needed a week off for Thanksgiving, good luck to you this week. Hopefully we can help you with some of that insanity. Jad Chambers is producing for us. He's got your IHOP hotline, which is brought to you by IHOP, the official breakfast partner of Xbox, celebrating with exclusive Xbox merchandise, games, and reward offers for loyalty members. That number is 869-1240. Joining us on the IHOP hotline next segment, Wyatt Thompson, voice of the Wildcats. Really nice performance for football as they try to finish the season strong. And a lot of reason for concern for K-State basketball. I don't believe Wyatt is out in, the islands with the team, but I know he was watching and he's been with them recently. So we'll try to get to the bottom of what's ailing K-State hoops early this season. A lot to do today. It is a fun day. Tommy, how are you?
I'm good. Happy Monday. A lot to react to today. Obviously, every Monday it is, but we're getting into the week where we've got, all the holiday tournaments with college basketball. We'll have Thanksgiving and Black Friday football. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty in college football. Like there's a lot to get to on the program today. Looking forward to jumping right in.
And we'll get as much of it in on a Monday as we can, and then we'll bleed over into Tuesday as we typically do. Let's start with the Chiefs, Tommy, and we'll set this up as sort of an appetizer for a much larger Chiefs discussion today. Look, I get it. It's the NFL. A win is a win, is a win, is a win, is a win. And I do believe that, but I also believe that you can come out of a win with concern. And right now for the Chiefs, it's always been, look, here's the thing for me. Should the Chiefs be concerned about the game against the Panthers? Of course they should. Defense didn't look very good at all. Mahomes was under siege against one of the worst pass rushes in football. Yes, the Chiefs should be concerned coming out of that game. If we were in a situation, Tommy, where the Chiefs hadn't won back-to-back Super Bowls, I think the narrative would be very, very different. This is history, Super Bowl or bust. All of these things are sitting here. So, yes, I think it's totally reasonable and understandable, and not even just like sports talk overreaction-y, to be concerned about the way that I've been saying it for weeks. I would still pick the Chiefs, and I would. But there are a lot more teams that I think could beat them in the postseason than I would have thought and did think going into this season. I thought there might be 2 or 3. I think there are basically any team that can reach the postseason can go get the Chiefs in any particular game. And look, we just finished week 12. This regular season's long. There's still like 6 games just in the regular season. So there's a lot of time. But yeah, I think we should be concerned after a Chiefs win like that. Carolina's not that good offensively. They allowed Bryce Young to have his best game as a pro. And no offense to Bryce Young coming off a bye week, and hope he has a nice career. But the Chiefs gambled and missed a lot on defense, and they were gettable. And I think that's a big concern.
Yeah, I think that it's 2 major areas of concern, one of which we've known about for quite a long time, and that's just the garbage play on the ends of the offensive line. And really it's become, not only Wanye Morris on the left side, but Jawaan Taylor the last couple of weeks has been really bad too on the right side. We've seen the Jawaan Taylor from last season and all the penalties rear its ugly head over the last couple of weeks. So the line play, especially on the outside of the line offensively, that's been something that we've talked about for weeks upon weeks upon weeks. The way the secondary is playing and just the defense in general, that has gotten progressively worse as the weeks have gone on. I mean, really, obviously, Jalen Watson going down with his injury has been brutal for Kansas City, but that has gotten, like I said, progressively worse. We've seen just a lack of a pass rush to be able to get to the quarterback. When the only way the Chiefs were able to get any kind of pressure on Bryce Young at all was when they blitzed the crap out of him, but then he was able to carve them up in the secondary. So they don't have the secondary to be able to support a big time blitz type game. And then just their normal pressure doesn't get to the quarterback typically. So, I mean, really, like that, those are the two major issues I think that we're currently dealing with Kansas City. I've gone back and forth since the game yesterday, and I tweeted this out after the game. There's a really fine line between a win is a win, everything is okay, versus we're terrible, the sky is falling. And I've gone
Sure.
back and forth between the two. I think you have to keep it in perspective too that on Christmas Day last year, the Chiefs were 9-6 after losing to the Raiders at home on Christmas Day. So you can keep it in perspective that they're 10-1 right now. That they're in a completely different situation than they were at this time a year ago, and they ended up winning a Super Bowl a year ago. So keeping it in perspective is important, but that doesn't diminish the fact that there are some pretty significant issues. I agree with you. They are, at least the way that they're playing right now, if these things don't continue to get improved, by the time we get to January, they are absolutely a beatable team in the playoffs.
Okay. And the difference too is like last year, and I felt like I was on an island saying everything was going to be okay in the postseason. That's because they played fantastic defense mostly, and they could run the ball. For whatever reason, Andy Reid doesn't want to run the ball right now. There's no reason. Kareem Hunt, again, had 16 carries yesterday. Should have had more. I texted you. I think Andy Reid is –
on the opening drive.
I think I texted you. I said, I think Andy Reid is allergic to a second down run. Like, why can't you run the ball on 2nd and 5? I don't understand. And in that game particularly, when you could not get Carolina off the damn field because Bryce Young was – beating Steve Spagnuolo and was ready for every blitz. Here's the problem with the defense to me, and you brought it up. They can't rush the passer, and so they have to blitz to create pressure. And it was very, I don't want to call it predictable because I'm not smart enough to call NFL defensive schemes predictable, but Carolina figured it out, and Bryce Young figured it out. And if Bryce Young can figure it out, what do you think Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen and insert quarterback here is going to do in the postseason? So it's they've got to figure that out. Pass rush is going to help because the secondary is not as good with injuries. So they're going to have to try to get better and try to create pressure, because if they have to do it with the blitz, that kind of takes the surprise element of what makes Spags so great away. And then on the flip side, it's funny how it's always in the trenches. Carolina, you kidding me? Carolina had 5 sacks. Carolina's the worst pass rush in football. Worst pass rush in football. And they had 5 sacks, drive killers. So, and yes, they're 10-1. And yes, last year, what'd you say they were? 9-6.
They were 9-6 on Christmas Day after that loss to the Raiders.
Okay, I want you to remember that Baltimore, was a toenail away from tying the game. They would have gone for 2. We know that now. Cincinnati was a 1-point win that they easily could have lost. Atlanta was a kind of a game closing win. Tampa took them to overtime. Denver should have beat them. They blocked a field goal, and Carolina had an opportunity that they shouldn't have. Like, yeah, they're 10-1, but even if half those go the other way, what are they? 8-5, 9-4, whatever it is. Like, it's not maybe this is, and I don't even know that I believe this, but it's not a true 10-1. It's just not. Like, it's a very.
Well, you are what your record says you
are. What the record says you are. And I don't want to, I also don't want to diminish that the absolute true strength of this team is still its quarterback, its coach, and its Hall of Fame players who continue to make big plays late to get those wins. And that can translate to the postseason. We've seen it in the last 2 Super Bowls. They easily could have not won either one of those Super Bowls. It's not like they steamrolled the playoffs, right? It's always been razor thin margins. Always. These deficiencies, though, with razor thin margins make you really nervous, right? Like, you have to, and I saw Hollywood Brown's coming back, and I'm like, great. Like, that doesn't even really help this team. Like, that's like, I hope he comes back, and that's all fine. They moved the ball through the air as much as they wanted to yesterday. They're going to get Isaiah Pacheco back, and that's going to help because they have to commit to the run.
If they utilize him, if they utilize the running game,
he'll be more explosive. The one thing Kareem Hunt is not is explosive, right? He's kind of 3 yards in a cloud of dust, but he's always moving forward. And I don't mean that as I think Kareem Hunt's been great, but add Isaiah Pacheco in there, and I think that will help to some degree. But if they don't run the ball, now, especially with their defense not able to create pressure, they're going to be in big trouble. They better run the ball.
Yeah, I don't even, really zero in on that being the key to Kansas City getting things turned around. I think there are two players that need to be on the field moving forward very quickly to help kind of stem that tide. That's DJ Humphries, number one. If he can get game ready and he's got to be better right now than what the Chiefs are doing at left tackle. Bottom line, I don't care if he hasn't played this season. I think you insert him in right away and he's going to be an upgrade. You got to get him going, and then you got to get Charles Omenihu back because you need to get that pressure. You need to get the pass rush without having to send the entire house, because every single quarterback in the league, we know that because Bryce Young did it yesterday, will carve you up if you send the house all the time, if that's the only way you can get pressure on the quarterback.
Uche's been a non-factor so far, which is disappointing. I hope Humphries helps too. The other thing is, and there are a lot of
drive that Mike Dana got to Bryce Young. That changed that drive for the Chiefs defensively. When they were able to get to, anytime that happens, that's an obvious. They need to do that more often. They need to get that more often.
I think, honestly, I do think that's correctable. We'll see on left tackle. And here's the other thing. We got Wyatt Thompson coming next. This is just sort of an appetizer for the Chiefs. We're going to dig way in on this. I do think, I know you're big on Noah Gray. I'm big on Noah Gray. I do think changing the offense to that, and they're going to get all these receivers back and healthy, but running two tight ends is going to be better for this offense. And they've been using two tight ends all year, but it's really coming to fruition now. We saw it early. Now we're seeing it again. But those guys can help chip block. Those guys can do a lot of things. We're going to see it's going to look strange. Like the Chiefs are going to run two backs, two tight ends a lot, I think. And I do think that's what they need to be doing because they've got to help. But we'll get into all of that a little bit later. We're going to pivot a little bit, go to college football and some college basketball. Voice of the K-State Wildcats, Wyatt Thompson, joins us when we return. We're going to give away a little HTO in this program today, so make sure you stay tuned for your opportunity to win that. I want to say thank you to Prairie Fire Coffee for keeping us fueled up in each and every morning here on KFH. We got more Sports Daily coming your way right after this.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
310-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Your new radio home for K-State Athletics, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. Sports Daily here on KFH. Glad to be with you on this Monday, Reaction Monday, reacting to a big win for K-State football, which we were happy to see get back on track. And a little concern and uncertainty with K-State hoops. Let's start with the good with the voice of the K-State Wildcats, Wyatt Thompson. Wyatt, how are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
We're doing good. We're doing good here. Just getting ready for Thanksgiving, stuff our faces, chase all the football and college basketball of this week, which is always fun. Boy, you needed a bounce back for the Wildcat football team. They got a bounce back for the Wildcat football team. Avery Johnson was efficient. Avery Johnson ran the ball, which was, I guess at a bird's eye, one of the big keys is that he was able to run the ball. Did he feel better? Do we know now? Like, was he just feeling better and more capable of doing that? Is he starting to get healthier?
Yeah, very much so. Probably as healthy as he has been since the game at Colorado. And that seems like such a long time ago now. And I guess in a lot of ways it was. You could tell from the get-go that the plan was as Coach Kleiman called it, quote, turn him loose. And I thought it opened up a lot of things. I thought the offensive line really responded and came back in a big way. DJ Giddens had a really nice night. But it kind of started with Avery, to be honest with you, with that start and the drive to take the lead and get K-State going. Really, really a fun night for them in terms of bouncing back. I think, you know what, it's been a really, really tough couple of 2.5, 3 weeks for Coach Kleiman, and things are better now. So I really think it's a great thing that they got it done, frankly.
Wyatt, there had been a lot of talk over the last few weeks about how the Wildcats offensively, really, they were doing things, I think, different from what their identity actually is. And they got back to that identity on Saturday against Cincinnati. And really, I think a lot of it comes down to Connor Riley and the way that he called that game offensively. It was different. He was back down on the sideline on Saturday, not in the press box. How big of an impact do you think that made?
I don't even know if I can quantify how big it was, to be real honest with you. Some guys are just more comfortable being on the field, I think. And I, even though I've never coached, I kind of get it. He's kind of get in there with the guys, kind of a guy anyway, being the offensive line coach. And I just thought you could tell right away that the team was really cut in and motivated and pumped up, or whatever you want to say. And you could see it right from the get-go in all phases. I mean, in the 2-game slide there, you had so many things that didn't go well in special teams, defensively, offensively. That was not the case in this game. I thought, and I don't want to make Cincinnati to be out to be better than they are. I think they're a good football team, but K-State dominated a pretty decent, solid team. It wasn't Arizona State. Probably wasn't Colorado or Kansas, but overall, pretty good work night.
League's kind of upside down. K-State's, not going to reach its ultimate goal. But I look at this now for an 8-3 team. As young as it is, they got a chance to go win a huge rivalry game at Iowa State, and then they'll have a chance to win 10 games. If they can get to that point, do you think, because it's hard because the expectation was that they'd contend for a Big 12 title, and the reason they're not are some losses that we all kind of shake our heads at and don't think they should have lost. But do you think if they can reach that point, 10 wins, a win at Iowa State, a bowl game win, that we can sort of have the same feel and buzz going into next year when all these young players are a little bit older?
Well, to be honest with you, Jacob, if I'm 100% straight up forward, if you go back and archive our stuff and listen to what I said early, I said, as excited as we are for 2024, we'll be even more so getting ready for 2025. And I continue to believe that. They're going to lose a lot of really good football players. But I think what we've seen here, and I think the other night was a really good example. I'll just throw out a handful of names here. The guys that you saw do really good things: Ryan Davis, Jordan Allen, Chidi Obiizor, Zayshawn Rich, Joe Jackson. Throw Trey Spivey your way. How about Trey Spivey in the last couple of games? He's really, really responded. He's really coming on. He's 6'4" and 215 pounds. And believe me when I tell you, his best football days are ahead of him. I'm really excited about the future because after this year, let's say K-State is a 9 or 10 win team, and now you've got Avery coming back with that much more experience. He's only going to get better too. So it's hard for me to not be excited about.
And everyone's going to want to come play with him too, right? Like that's that's the other thing.
Yeah, I can't say a lot about the recruiting yet until they sign the national letter of intent, but they've just got a couple of commitments. One from a high school player who's really good, and a junior college player who I think they're really excited about. So why wouldn't you want to come and be a part of that? That's what I say.
One of the players, Wyatt, that will not be back next year, but had a memorable senior night was Brendan Mott. Had his first interception of his career in his final game at Bill Snyder Family Stadium. Watching him come off the field and then pause, turn around, go back out onto the field after the game. That tells you all you need to know, I think, about this kid and the way that he's put his heart and soul into K-State football.
And Tommy, I appreciate you bringing that up because it was an emotional moment for him, but I think it was for everybody that saw it. There's just something about these guys that come in here like him, and there have been hundreds like him, I think, in the 23 years I've been here that come here as a walk-on and not only earn their way and earn a scholarship, but look at all that he's accomplished in the 6 years he's been here. He's been a captain, he's been a leader, he's been just the growth. He's got a chance to play at the next level. He's probably a little bit undersized, but so is Felix Anudike-Uzomah. And I'm not comparing them. Felix was a hell of a player here, right? I mean, we all know that. But Mott's made his way too. And I think the emotion of just, what they put into it and knowing it's that last time. I've become very good friends with Hadley Panzer over the years too. He stayed with me on his visit. He lives in Lakin where my son's at, and you just I look at I look at what he's accomplished in the time that he's been here too. It's a process, and those guys surely appreciate it here. And I think a lot of it is just because of the passion of the fans, and that's the best part, I think, for them.
All right, Wyatt, let's talk about K-State hoops. And before we do that, I guess let's look at Iowa State. It's a 3-point spread, Iowa State at home. I like their chances, honestly. I do. It would be really, really nice to see them be able to go on the road and play well. Avery feeling better will certainly help. But if you tell me that Avery Johnson feels good and will run free and not have any restrictions, I'll take the Cats in that game.
Well, I think I like their chances too, to be real honest with you. It's not a guarantee. I think they could go up there and play a really good game and get beat. I mean, Iowa State's good. They've only lost twice. They have one of the best defensive coordinators in the country. I have said for a long, long time, it amazes me what they have done there in Matt Campbell's time, especially with those last two quarterbacks with Brock Purdy and now this kid Rocco Becht. Rocco just wins, And I was looking at the combined career receiving numbers for Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel. It's like 400, almost 450 catches and over 5,000 yards and 42 touchdowns. They're pretty productive. They have 3 good quality running backs. They're a veteran team, veteran defense. So, but with all that said, how much difference do we think there really is in these two teams? It's all going to come down to, as Coach Snyder used to say, keep it between those white lines and go do what you do. Everything else takes care of itself. And, you do have the distraction of Thanksgiving, but hey, they've dealt with that before. I don't think that will be an issue. I really don't. But playing there is difficult. And you guys know this. You follow this every day of your lives like I do. These two teams have put on some real shows here recently. And I know K-State, some of the players after the game the other night talked about they still have a little bit of a burr in their saddle about what happened here last year. They weren't happy about it. Iowa State was happy about it. I think they'd like to return the favor.
And one other angle, I think, potentially with this game this weekend, Wyatt, is the fact that Iowa State ranks down near the bottom of the Big 12 in their rush defense.
Mm-hmm.
So there could be an opportunity not only for Avery Johnson, but if DJ Giddens can continue in doing what he did, follow up the performance against Cincinnati. There is that world where Kansas State could exploit that and potentially run all over Iowa State.
Yeah, and I think you can point to one thing for sure that's been probably the issue there with Iowa State, and that is the number of injuries they've had at the linebacker position. When you look at their guys up front, Singleton and Onyedem and Dominic Orange and those kind of guys, they've been around a long, long time. But they've had a couple of guys that they were really leaning on that got hurt early. And one of them is now back, but hasn't, how that goes when you miss, 12, 13 weeks. It's hard to step right in and go. But they do have a veteran secondary. If K-State can run the football like some have, and if you really want to go look at a game, go look at the game where Tech played in Ames. They ran the ball. They ran the ball.
Okay.
So I think K-State can do that. Can you do everything else with that as well to give yourself a real shot? And I think they can.
They certainly want to, right? That's what they'd like to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. K-State basketball. I don't know. Liberty's not a bad team. LSU's not a bad team. So it's not like either of those losses are egregious. It's not like they'll mean a whole lot to the resume because K-State plays in the Big 12. But I don't think there's anybody watching this team that watches it and thinks, yeah, this is going well. It doesn't seem to be doing that. It seems like there's a whole lot to work on for this version of the Cats.
I agree with that wholeheartedly, to be honest. I watched the game last night. Brian and Ben are filling in for Stan and Matt and I while we do the football thing. And you could just tell that right out of the gate, or at least I thought you could, that, Liberty was gritty. They play the game the right way. They don't turn it over. They work for good shots. They reverse the ball. They defend. I don't I thought it was going to be a tight game, and I think it comes down to just making plays and being strong with the ball. And there were some times when I thought K-State didn't necessarily do that. I get what you're saying. I think LSU is a pretty decent team, and I think Liberty has a chance to be, a postseason type team too. What I think concerns everyone is that K-State has been inconsistent, and let's be honest. Everybody watching that loves K-State in this group or wants to love this group, where would Liberty and LSU fit in the 12, right? In the Big 12. And I'm going to say probably not great.
No, I agree.
I think they'd be in the lower third, both of them, frankly.
I agree.
White, I wonder, like going back to the last, I don't know, minute or so of the game last night for Kansas State. I know that, Coach Tang talked in his post game about that sequence of events and the couple Doug McDaniel missed 3-pointers and a David Gasson put back that didn't go in. That, I know that ultimately those shots didn't fall. I felt like those were pretty good looks for the most part. Sometimes those things are going to happen.
Sure.
And so I don't know if, I think everybody's going to point at that, like, man, you needed one of those 3 to fall in the last few seconds of the game. I don't know if you can really point at that, though, as being really the deciding outcome.
I don't think you look at it like that, but that's just me. I look more at the point where they had a chance to take control of the game after they came back early in the second half and took the lead and were up 4 or whatever it was, and go from there and build on it. And the next thing you know, they're down. And I was concerned at that particular point, just because you could kind of just sense and feel that, this was probably going to go down to the last little bit. And I just didn't think, again, it's hard to tell sometimes on TV. I've learned that over the years, but I didn't feel like, as an example, they at times took great shots. I don't know that they screened and cut as hard as I think Coach would like them to. Taking care of the ball. I thought they were a little bit loose with it from time to time. And that's a hard team to defend because of the way they move the ball. You got to sit down and guard. And I thought they were just okay at that.
Well, look, I mean, if Coleman Hawkins and Doug McDaniel are the 2 headline transfers, and I think that they were, they had 9 turnovers collectively yesterday. That's weird.
Yeah.
See, I mean, that's that. It just like that. It doesn't seem like, and I have not talked to this team. I have not talked to, I mean, I'm not even in full like college basketball mode yet, but it doesn't seem to me like these pieces are fitting right now. And there is time to get them to fit. We know that. But I don't know anything about the personality of this team because it's so new and so fresh and everything else, but it just doesn't seem like that cohesiveness is happening.
Yeah, I think the consistency that you're searching for is what everybody is looking at. They've had moments where they've been really good and an exciting group to look at. I think everybody sees that they have some depth and some talent. But again, I think it's been a little bit slower than everybody had hoped for in terms of piecing it all together. I mean, you'll see, I'm not trying to be overly critical, but Doug McDaniel missed a game because of a coaching decision, right? Chor missed a couple of ball games, and in this tournament, you could argue that he's been one of their better players. David Gasson, I think he's scored in double figures in 7 straight games. He's probably, without a doubt, been the most consistent guy. So they're just, it's frustrating because,
right. And that's probably not a coincidence.
Yeah.
He's the one that appears bought in on everything.
For sure. And I don't know that that's necessarily true for everybody else. And I do think that they're playing a little bit on the conservative side as opposed to just letting it go. We talked about Avery Johnson, go play, be you, let it go. I think there needs to be a little of that here too. And I think they're playing a little bit tightish.
I don't know how much, if anything, we know about Longwood, the game today for Kansas State, but I would suspect that probably from a size difference between the two teams, Kansas State probably there's a mismatch there, at least in the paint. So, I don't know. I would imagine that's got to be, maybe one of the keys to the game today, at least if Kansas State wants to get that 3rd place victory.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that's true. One thing I would like to see them do is I just think that they had an advantage against Liberty last night, and you could see it from time to time when they were getting touches on the inside with Gasson and Achor and what have you. And I don't know that they did enough of that, later in the game. Again, I'm not trying to be overly critical. I'm just saying, what I felt like I saw. I'd like to have been there to be able to ask Coach about that. I just thought they had, down the stretch, some possessions that they would like to have back. And it's difficult because, again, you're playing a solid team, but like we talked about before, this is the kind of team that hopefully gets you ready for Big 12 conference play, but it's also the kind of team that you need to beat. And unfortunately, last night they didn't beat Liberty.
We will hear that game right here, 3:30. K-State a 10.5-point favorite, but that 3:30 coverage on KFH, home of K-State athletics. We got a big one coming this weekend in football, Farmageddon. Wyatt, we can't wait for it. Safe travels to Ames, and by the time you get back, we're going to be starting to guess at bowl games.
So we are.
We'll do that. Hopefully, it's it's like, oh, good. We're going to get one of these SEC teams that needs, that we've seen that story before. No, they got to win out and get in there, get a good one.
Yeah, for sure. And I hope you guys have got all the tiebreakers in the league figured out.
Yeah.
Which is really, really weird, isn't it? It's so crazy looking at it. But that's what the league has been. And I'll be honest, I think the SEC is not that much different.
It's the same. Yeah.
They are the same. I mean, Alabama and Georgia aren't Alabama and Georgia of the recent years, so that's just wide open. And I wouldn't mind playing one of those teams.
No, like the SEC and the Big 12 are going to get punished for their depth. Where the Big 10 will be rewarded for having a bunch of really crappy teams in their league. I mean, I don't know what they're supposed to do. I mean,
I think they're good at the top. I mean, Oregon, Ohio State, Indiana,
are.
But yeah, I mean, you get towards the middle and towards the bottom, it drops off drastically.
Yeah, far more cupcakes for those guys. Good for them.
No, and you know what? We say it all the time, but you look at this league, I can't find a single team that I think, okay, that one's going to be easy. Let's just show up and we'll be fine. It doesn't happen.
Mike Gundy's at the bottom, and if Mike Gundy's at the bottom, you're doing all right. Like
how about his post-game comments?
I didn't see it.
The old lady doesn't want me at home or something like that. Yeah, I'm not retired.
Awesome.
What do you think? I'm going to get fired?
I didn't see that. It'll be good. It'll be good. We're getting a team in. They'll represent us in the playoffs. It'll be fine. It's better than it used to be. Wyatt, we appreciate it. Safe travels. We'll tune in this weekend.
Thanks, guys. Have a great Thanksgiving. Appreciate it.
There goes Wyatt Thompson. Wild time of year. Right now, we got a game today, 4:30. The Cats basketball team, and then Farmageddon this weekend should be awesome. I think the good news for that game is both of those teams who had a little bit of a rocky stretch each, both appear to be on the right track, and that should make that game awesome. Tommy, we got all kinds of stuff. We got to get more on the Chiefs. We'll get into KU's football win. The Royals are making like 1,000 moves here, or at least rumored on them, that we've got to get into today.
How about the Shockers? I mean, God, the
Shockers look good
this weekend.
Their most impressive performance of the year, I think.
So.
But yeah, we're going to try to get it in. Don't worry, we'll get in tomorrow what we can't get in today. But we're going to continue the conversations as we roll forward. Since we're talking college football, let's hit some KU football when we return. And on the way out, we want to tell you the Crestview Country Club's got a big week. They've got Thanksgiving brunch out there at the club. They can send you home Thanksgiving meals as well. Just one example of the way they celebrate the holidays over there. It's great if you're like us and you're here on an island without family in the area. I say us like my family. We use it all the time because we're working. We got all kinds of crazy stuff happening. It's great. We appreciate them. We appreciate their support of the program. Give them a call and check them out. We've got a voice message on the Royals. We'll get to that as well. You can always leave us voice messages through the Odyssey app. The IHOP hotline is back open for you at 869-1240. And you can leave video comments, Facebook, YouTube, X. You can also just reach out to us on social media. As an example, Chris, who's a huge KU fan, was coming in hot last night on K-State to both Tommy and I. Thinks Jerome Tang got lucky in his first year and deserves no credit for anything else. Taking shots right now at the Cats. We'll see if they can get it turned around. Wyatt Thompson had thoughts if you missed any of it. just now, go back and listen on the Odyssey app. We'll be back. More Sports Daily right after this.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere. Bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
310-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Have you heard about Pepin Suter Remodeling? You need to give them a call. If you got any project, small, large, anything inside the home, outside the home, these guys do great work. They did our kitchen remodel this summer. We love it. We could not be happier. I mean that. And not only is the quality of work, the quality of the people were good. They took very good care of our family, which matters to me, and I'm sure it does to you too. And their bid was way lower than their peers that we took bids from on the project as well. Give them a call, 316-573-6822, or go to pepinsuter.com, PEPINSUTER. You can see a lot of their work right there on the website. Give them a call. It's a very easy process, but they do all kinds of stuff. But we appreciate their support of Sports Daily and the network and our kitchen, for that matter. Tommy, it's interesting for KU football, as you know. No, none of this. Here's what the craziest thing to me is: like, none of this surprises anybody. None of it. They're going on the road to Baylor as a 1-point underdog this week. Who doesn't love that, right? Like, I look at this, and their wins right now when they're playing these teams. They barely lost to K-State, who was 16 at the time. They beat Iowa State, who was 17 at the time. They go on the road and beat BYU, who was 6 at the time. They beat Colorado, who's 16. That's their last 4 games, and their schedule has been upside down. And I can't decide whether to be happier for them that they got it turned around or more disappointed that they are, as the reality of the Big 12 played out and they sit at 4-4, how close in reality they were, that if just a couple of those go the other way, they would have been right there. I mean, they're a top 3 talent team in this league. They're finally playing well. Unlike K-State, who we just talked about, who has so much coming back, right, to be excited about. So it's like the wound doesn't hurt as badly as it does for KU when you watch it, and you're just like, this team should have been playing for a Big 12 championship, and they lose a lot of players. It sucks.
The biggest thing is Devin Neal. I mean, you don't get him, moving forward, and that guy is,
or the receivers, or maybe Jalen Daniels.
Right. But I mean, the highlight on that, or the low light, I guess, of who you're losing is the guy that got into the end zone 4 times in the game on Saturday against Colorado. The longer that this goes on, the fact that they've won 3 in a row against 3 ranked teams in a row makes me feel overall better about the Jayhawks. And then you go and you look at just the way that this conference has shaken out. I sent you this after the game on Saturday. It's been a bad draw for the Jayhawks. They're going to end up playing 8 of the top 9 teams in the Big 12 this season, and only 1 of the bottom 6 teams in the Big 12. So their schedule, in retrospect, looking back on the way that everything panned out for them, they're playing only the top tier opponents, essentially, in the Big 12. Now, a couple of those games absolutely should have gone their way. The K-State game, is one of them for sure. There are others, West Virginia should have gone their way. They should have gotten at least the UNLV game in the non-conference. So there are for sure missed opportunities and things you can look back on and think, man, what if? What could have been? I mean, this would have been, I think, a playoff team. There's no doubt about that, had they been able to play to their talent and to their potential early on in the season. But the resilience, I think, is extremely important. I think they go on the road to Waco this weekend and they win. I think they make it to a bowl game, and I think they win that bowl game, and they have a winning record. And this is a team that, they were 2-6. They were 1-5 at another point in this season. And I think that they'll be able to, turn that around, continue that, beat Baylor this weekend on the road, and then ultimately win a bowl game.
Yeah, look, I do too. And I'm happy that it's happened, because I think for Lance Leipold, big picture, it's a hell of a lot better than had they not turned it around, and what he can potentially do in the portal. It will be fascinating to see, the Jalen Daniels question get answered. We're not there yet. And look, I'm just glad they're playing well. They have a chance to still make this a nice season, get to that bowl game. They have to win them all still. They got to win this one to get the bowl game.
Yeah, they do. I mean, they're 5-6 right now. You win this game, not only do you move to 6-6 overall and you're bowl eligible, but you finish with a winning record in conference play at 5-4, which is just wild to think about, and the path in which to do so when you're taking down BYU and you're taking down, just the teams that they've been at Iowa State, and then being able to win against Colorado. That Colorado win was different than the other ones because they had, it wasn't like they blew a huge lead, right? Like it was a back and forth game. And then in the fourth quarter, they're hanging on desperately for dear life. They put their foot on the gas and they were able to get it done. I don't know if that tells us more about Kansas overall, or honestly, if it tells us more about Colorado.
Really, really, really impressive performance for them. I still hope, as the Big 12 shakes out, that Colorado gets a shot in the Big 12 championship game. The tiebreaker thing, and Wyatt was joking about it. I mean, Arizona State and BYU will take care of it. And then, you want K-State to win, and then Colorado gets their chance. But, man, I'm so happy for KU, and I'm also so frustrated because this team is very talented. Like we thought they were.
Top 3 talent team in the conference. They might be number one. Might be number one.
Yeah, look, I think they're in the conversation. They're in the conversation. I think honestly, like it's kind of what we thought. I feel like K-State's there too, and K-State, Avery Johnson gets hurt and clearly is limited. Like there are things we'll look at, but I also don't want to take anything away from Arizona State, who I think is far more talented than we thought they were, with a great quarterback, from Colorado, who's playing significantly better than anybody gave them credit for. I know they lost to KU, but
Yeah. And I'm a huge fan of this idea of flat out chaos this weekend in the Big 12, because Kansas State could still play for a Big 12 title game.
Yeah, for the strength and the health of the league.
But I would love that.
I want Colorado to get in, but yeah, they would have to lose for that chaos to. Mm-hmm. No, how could that be possible?
Kansas State has a path to the Big 12 title game.
Oh, I thought you said Kansas. I thought you said Kansas.
Kansas State.
Yeah.
I'm all.
But I don't even know how that works because I don't. So here's the problem with that. Like, so yeah, you'd have 3 losses, but you lost to both Arizona State and BYU, so you can't get in over one of those 2 teams. You got to beat Iowa State, and you already beat Colorado, so they'd both have to lose, right? And then I don't know what the tiebreaker. And then I guess Kansas beats Baylor. That's your path, but I don't know.
Yeah, there's a whole path to it. They've got to win at Iowa State. They need other upsets. They need Arizona. They need Arizona to beat Arizona State. They need Houston to beat BYU. They need Oklahoma State to beat Colorado. And then there's some tiebreakers that would come into play. They can still make it.
It's
going to be unlikely, but I'm all about that chaos.
Let's do that. Ken points out KU's history in Waco. They're going to buck that trend. Ken, I love KU this weekend. In Waco, I do. All right, let's come back. We've got to get back into the Chiefs. We'll dig in fully. We're going to get to the comments that Ken left on the Royals. We got to talk about, this India Singer trade is massive. So we're going to talk about that as well in hour number 2. We've got our college football in for the day. If you missed any of it, if you want to rehash it, if you want to go back, whatever, you can on the Odyssey app. And we'll also try to look ahead at some of the college basketball tonight. It's a big one, but We'll squeeze it all in the best we can. It is Sports Daily. It is all Brockton Caster. On the way out here from hour number 1, let's give away some HTO, a text to win contest, a free iced tea, a free rain coffee, iced or hot. You can get your hands on one of each of those. And while you're in, order those Thanksgiving gallons this week, closed on Thursday. So get those orders in. They're the perfect complement to Thanksgiving. All you got to do to win the free drinks is text the keyword T to the short code 20357. T20357. You can enter once per day. Message and data rates apply. Good luck, everybody. We're coming right back. More Sports Daily right after this.
In Odyssey Sports Station, this is 97.5 and 1240 KFH, KNSS HD2 Clearwater, Wichita's most listened to sports radio.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12.
Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW.
12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here. Celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
310-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrecht and Tommy Kester.
All right, Welcome back in, everybody. Glad to have you with us on a Monday, a Reaction Monday, hour number 2 getting underway. If you missed anything from hour number 1, go back and listen on the Odyssey app. The IHOP hotline is wide open for you the rest of the day. The official breakfast partner of Xbox, celebrating with exclusive Xbox merchandise, games, reward offers for loyalty members. It's at 869-1240. We've got voicemails to get to on the Royals and their big trade. Brady Singer for Jonathan India, 1-for-1, good old-fashioned baseball trade. I've got thoughts. I know Tommy's got thoughts. I've tried to digest this. It is a fascinating trade. But we'll get into that a little later in the hour. We spent just a couple of minutes off the top with the Chiefs, so that's where we're going to head to start things off in hour number 2. So if you'd like to get in touch with us about that, you can. If you'd like to reach us, you can do that on the video stream as well. If you've got comments, you can do that on Facebook, on YouTube, on X. Thanks for those watching us on 12 News Connected right now. Tommy, I don't know that you or Jad left me a comment and asked if it was a flannel Monday. Of course, we have Hawaiian shirt Wednesdays. I would tell you that most days in the winter for me, there will be a lot of flannel days, right? It's just the easiest. Become a big flannel guy. They're warm. I hate being cold. You just toss one on. I got a nice little. I have more Hawaiians than flannels, Tommy, but I'm starting to collect plenty of flannels.
I don't think I own a single flannel shirt, to be honest.
Really?
I don't own any Hawaiian shirts. I don't own any flannel shirts either.
What are you doing?
I mean, this is kind of what like the
are you even a dad? Like, how do you go?
I'm more of a quarter zip kind of guy.
Yeah, I guess quarter zip fits into the dad stereotype too.
Than I am a flannel. I've never been a flannel guy.
But do you know how like soft and warm they are, and like they it makes you feel like a lumberjack, I guess, kind of. I don't know. I didn't used to be.
My wife, you know what you look like?
Here's how flannel happened for me. I got one for Christmas one year, and it was like a thick flannel. Like my mom gets, I have 4 brothers. She gets all 5 of us like the same thing every year for Christmas. And that year it happened to be like a warm flannel. And I was like, oh my God. And I wore that thing like every day in the winter, every day. And so then the next year I got another one. I'm like, okay. And then I think because I would wear those every day because they were warm, and I would, whether you go outside, they're easy to layer. So I would wear them like under my jacket. Then my wife started to buy them for me. She probably thought like, oh, he loves flannel shirts. And I didn't have any opinion on flannels. So now all of a sudden I have lots of flannels.
You know what you look like? You look like the brawny man going through some kind of disease. Like you look like you're just withering away. Like you're the brawny man withering away. We could call you the scrawny man. I like that.
You can call me the scrawny man, which
we'll call you the
lends into why I hate being cold so much. And there you go. You wear a flannel. And you throw the flannel on and boom, you got a built-in
maybe
layer.
Get some meat on your bones, and then you won't have to worry about it. That's probably why I don't wear flannel. I've got more meat on my bones than you do.
Yeah, the meat isn't meat. It's it's like muffin top for me. Like I've been working out. I started going back to the gym a couple weeks ago.
I'm just naturally insulated, so I don't need a flannel shirt. I think that's my excuse.
Yeah, I know how that works too. All right, let's talk about the Chiefs here. Look, it was not a good game yesterday, and yeah, I know they won, and I do subscribe to in the NFL. You just got to win them because every week we see teams lose games that they should win. We saw the Steelers lose to the Browns. Just this week, we saw the Texans lose to the Titans. Right? We saw any other upsets yesterday. The Commanders lose to the Cowboys, right? So, like, I get it, and I genuinely believe that the Chiefs going on the road in an early Sunday game to beat a team coming off of a bye that had won 2 games in a row, yes, at the end of the day, you feel good about wins like that in the NFL. What you don't feel good about is that the problems this team faces were glaring against that team. And so, like, the team with the worst pass rush in football all year sacks Mahomes 5 times. And Mahomes is hard to sack, okay? So it's even like double whammy. On the flip side, you face a quarterback who got benched this year for Andy Dalton, a former number 1 pick last year, who the Panthers were ready to make that decision on. and he is beating what's becoming a predictable defense because you can't get any pass rush. And so, like, you have these issues that we know are issues, but they should have been non-issues against that particular team, right? If they're an issue against that team, they're literally going to be an issue against everybody, because you've got, those aren't the Panthers' strengths anyway, but they sure looked like it yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I think that narrative that you painted the picture of all the things about Carolina coming into the game, coming off the bye, and they've been trending upwards and playing better as of late and all of that. That's all true and well and good. But then you could also craft a narrative about how the Chiefs are coming off of a loss against Buffalo, where they wanted to get back on track. They wanted to put that Buffalo loss away behind them and have a clean, fresh start. And the best way to do that, it's almost like, the Panthers walking into, a huge like dog kennel with a bunch of Rottweilers wearing meatless. That's what it should have been. The Chiefs jumped in and just absolutely beat up all over them. And they didn't do that. They weren't able to make that happen.
I totally agree. And until they didn't cover, it felt like they were going to cover, right? Like the 11 points, like until the very end of the game, it was like, they'll cover. They can move the ball at will, and they could move the ball at will.
They were letting the Panthers move the ball down the field, but once the Panthers got into the red zone, the Chiefs did a really good job of keeping them out of the end zone in the first half. And really Carolina had
They shouldn't have been letting them move the ball, though.
They shouldn't have been letting them move the ball at all, but when they did move the ball, they weren't getting into the end zone, at least early in the game. And then that changed in the second half.
I would agree with that sentiment if they were playing, the Ravens or the Bills or whatever. Like, oh man, they let them move the ball, but they didn't break in the end. You don't let Carolina move the ball. Carolina sucks, guys. Like, Carolina's terrible. And so I don't know what to make of the defense right now. I really don't, because they didn't have a great pass rush last year either, and they were still great, right? And maybe Omenihu, and maybe I'm misremembering that, but it certainly wasn't a dominant pass rush. Maybe Omenihu helps. I think he will. Look, I think there are two guys coming back, and they're the two that we thought might be back this week that really will help the Chiefs in a lot of what ails them. Omenihu should help the pass rush. You hope. You pray that he does that. And I do think Isaiah Pacheco will allow them to run it more than they have been. They should have run the ball more in that game. It was frustrating. Kareem Hunt should have had 20-plus carries in that game. No reason that he didn't. And it's not like he wasn't effective. He was. Like, they were effective running the ball. Is he ever going to be Saquon Barkley out there? No. But when you've got to pay attention to the fact that defense doesn't have it today. Let's keep them off the field. Let's put the pressure on that way. And late in the game, they did have a long sustaining drive. And it's like, man, they should have been doing this the whole first half. But the problem was they could pass it, right? Their pass game was effective. But sometimes you got to help your defense out. And I think they could have done that a little better. But they'll run it more with Pacheco and Hunt and Steele. That has to be the strength of this team. Like, I'm trying to even think, what do you even compare offensively? Because it's going to be real tempting when Hollywood Brown comes back, and now you've got D-Hop and Hollywood Brown and Juju and Worthy, and like, now all of a sudden this, you got all these talented receivers and everything, but man, you got two tight ends that can do everything you need, that are better fit to disguise your pass blocking deficiencies, and you have Isaiah Pacheco coming back. So everyone just keeps it like the Chiefs are just getting healthier, and yeah, they are, but they can't use them all. So what do you do? And I think the better design of it is what we saw offensively yesterday, but running the ball more. Utilize the tight ends, right? I mean, with the tight ends. I mean, as far as like pass catchers, because those guys.
The only reason I chuckle is because, sure, like, we can cross our fingers and say the Chiefs need to run the ball more, and hopefully they will. And when Isaiah Pacheco comes back, they're going to. I don't think we're going to see that big of a change. I think they need to, but that's not. We've said that the identity of this team all season long has been to run the football, run the football, run the football. They've had success doing it, but then they get away from it. And I want to give Andy Reid a little bit of slack here, cut him a little bit of slack, because I also know that if they did lean on the run game more, then there would be a contingent of Chiefs fans that they would say Andy Reid is too conservative. All he's doing is running the ball.
Who would say that this year? Those people are
DeAndre Hopkins. You need to throw it more, and you've also got Travis Kelce. But then, then they do throw the ball more, and then Andy Reid's getting too cute. He needs to get back to basics and run the ball. Like those things you can't win in general, because one side is always going to say he's too conservative when he's running the ball. The other side is going to say he's getting too cute when he's not running the ball. I'm not sure, even though I want to see Isaiah Pacheco come back and absolutely bolster this running game and have a two-headed monster between he and Kareem Hunt, I'm not sure that that's going to happen the way that you're predicting it's going to happen. I think we'll see Isaiah Pacheco run the football, but I think it's going to be at the expense of Kareem Hunt. I'm not sure that it's going to be.
Yes, Kareem Hunt's going to
these guys as a two-headed monster, and that's going to be the way that they win games for the rest of the year. I just don't think that's going to happen.
Listen, I like them as a two-headed monster because I like leaving Kareem Hunt in there to block. That's what I mean by two-headed monster. They're going to ease Isaiah Pacheco back in, and they need to protect Pacheco if they are going to run the ball like they should. So I'm going back here and looking at the logs. So in the Baltimore game, which was the Baltimore game, they didn't run it. They ran it 17 times with their running backs in that game. So not nothing, but it's after that they really started to push it. They ran it 26 times with running backs against the Bengals. Against the Falcons, it was 23 times, and that was before they got Hunt back, right? It was the Steele and Pirine game. Then against the Chargers, they ran it another 21 times, and then the Saints, which, game script helps, they ran it like 32 times in that game. And so they were finding a lot of success with that, but then it just kind of, it kind of petered off a little bit. And so I think.
So what do you think is going to happen all of a sudden when?
Well, I think first and foremost, you don't want
to see 30 plus carries a game between the two,
because
that's reality.
Maybe not 30, but I would imagine that you'll see 15-ish carries from Pacheco a game and probably like 8-ish from Hunt, and then whatever else scraps for Pirine and Carson Steele. I would guess
runs yesterday was McCole Hardman getting the ball out of the back.
And that's okay too, because that still protects Mahomes. So I'm okay with that. But what you don't want is Mahomes getting sacked 5 times. I mean, that can't happen. And so I would, if it were me and I was like dreaming up the ideal scenario for the Chiefs offense, you'd start at 25 runs a game. Like that would be the baseline for me. And if you're allowed to, if the other team's letting you, I'd love to see it. Yeah, push 30. I just don't know. The only issue with it is, because that was easier to say early in the year. The only issue with it now, and this is my biggest area of concern yesterday, is if the defense may not let you do that anymore, because they're not playing very well either. And so now it's like, okay, yeah, you'd like to run the ball to protect Mahomes and utilize the strength of your team, which is the interior line. But now all of a sudden it's like, well, hang on a minute. Like, you're going to have a situation present itself where the Panthers are going to score 27 points on you? Okay. Because if that happens, now you can't run it. Even though in that game yesterday, I thought running it made sense. But that's the Panthers. They're the worst run defense in football this year, or the second worst, I think it is. You're not always going to get that, especially in the postseason. So they may have to throw it. And this is why you and I think, are both fearful of the deficiencies on this team right now. It's because, like, no matter what they try to do, like, collectively, it keeps circling back in different ways to the fact that Mahomes is going to be under siege, right? Whether the defense doesn't allow you to run it and take the air out of it and control the clock, or, whatever it is, like, it keeps going back to Mahomes just got sacked 5 times by the Panthers.
Yeah. And I think that you used the word a couple minutes ago, game script, when you were talking about, I think it was the Saints game, and the way the game script had them run the football. I think game script is a really important phrase moving forward for Kansas City, because I don't think that even with Isaiah Pacheco back, and I don't even care if you get Hollywood Brown back, they're not going to be able to do the game script that they want to do. It doesn't matter what the identity of the team is. They're not going to be able to run through that game script in an ideal way for a couple of different reasons. Number one, because Patrick Mahomes is going to have no time whatsoever in the pocket to do much of anything. It's a lot. The offensive line
Downfield.
on the ends is a liability. Yeah, downfield. They're not going to be able to do much of anything because they're just a liability. And whether you're talking about him being sacked 5 times or you're talking about holding penalties all the time or hands to the face or whatever Jawan Taylor was dealing with multiple times in that game, you're basically taking the legs out from underneath your offense. And then on the other side of it, you're just not able to cover wide receivers with any level of confidence whatsoever. I mean, one thing that Bryce Young and the Panthers did yesterday that was just, I mean, it kept them in the game to where they were able to tie the game late, was they kept drives alive on third down. The Chiefs could not get off the field on third down defensively yesterday. That's a major issue against the Panthers. It's going to be a major issue in the playoffs as well. So,
but
look,
but I don't even know, is that the secondary? Because how many sacks did the Chiefs have yesterday? They had one. And how many did defensive linemen create? 0. It was a half sack on a blitz.
Yep.
So it was McDuffie Bolton splitting a sack on a blitz.
That brings up a really good question. Where the hell is Chris Jones? Like, is
well, I think he's
is there, you know, he's not getting the kind of pressure that we've come to expect from Chris Jones. And you really he would be the number one guy for sure, obviously, to generate that pressure on a quarterback without having blitzes happen. So we can always point at, okay, Charles Omenihu coming back off the edge is going to be big. Where's Felix Anudike-Uzomah? George Karlaftis needs to be able to get, more angles to be able to get to the quarterback. Chris Jones is that guy that has always
he's paid like it. It's fair.
He's paid like it. He's kind of been invisible the last.
I would ask you this though: if you were the opposing offensive coordinator, what would your plan for the Chiefs defense be?
Shut down Chris Jones.
Make sure Chris Jones does not. I mean,
somebody else is going to beat us. That's fine.
We're
not going to let Chris Jones.
It's kind of like when Kelsey has gotten off to slow starts, and it's so glaringly obvious when the Chiefs, not now, but at times this year and certainly last, where they just didn't have any wide receiver play. It's like, what's happened to Travis Kelsey? I'm like, guys, he's getting double and triple teamed. Like, what do you want him to do? I think without going back and watching the all 22s, that's probably what's happening with Chris Jones. Is it's easy right now for offensive coordinators to just look at that and be like, well, okay, we just got to make sure Chris Jones doesn't get to our quarterback, and we're going to have all the time in the world. And I think that's what they're doing. They're getting nothing off the edges, and that has to change. The only other thing you can do is blitz, right? Which Spags is the king of, but you can't
don't have the secondary.
You can't be well, not when it's predictable, right? You can't be predictable. Like yesterday, and again, This goes above my pay grade. I'm always willing to admit that, especially in football. But for me, I could see it, and I'm watching. I'm like, oh, 3rd and 8, Chiefs are going to blitz. Third and long, 3rd and medium, Chiefs are going to blitz here, and they did. And so Young just got it out quick, and credit to Young for getting it done. But he would just kind of toss it up and know that somebody had a chance to go get it if he could just get it out before that blitz got there. Spags is at his best when he can blitz when you don't know it's coming. That's when we see McDuffie wreak havoc in the backfield and all those kinds of things. But man, when it's always the same because they know on 3rd and whatever, they have to generate some kind of pass rush. When it's an obvious passing down and they can't do it with their defensive linemen, then that makes it easier on the opposing quarterback if they're capable. And credit to Bryce Young because he was capable of doing that yesterday. But they're going to play teams in the playoffs with quarterbacks who can all dissect a blitz.
By the way, do you know when the last time Chris Jones had a sack?
Oh God, this year?
Yeah. Week 4 against the Chargers.
I was going to say week 3. Yeah.
George Karlaftis hasn't had a sack since week 8. So we're going on over a month, for Karlaftis. So just from the pass rush perspective, and I understand that at least with Chris Jones, they're going to double team him. They're going to make sure that, that
can't double team them both. It's a good point.
You got to have one or the other. And so we can always point at Omenihu. But it's really those two guys, right? And one or the other should be able to get free at least a couple of times a game. And we haven't really seen that, at least in a while for Kansas City. I think, the other thing, and we've been, I think rightfully, I guess negative is the word, concerned is the word about Kansas City over the last couple of weeks. They are 10-1. Okay. But also, there are some positives, I think, to take away. Noah Gray has turned into a bona fide star, I think, on this team. And the level of trust, I read a really good article in the Kansas City Star before the game yesterday about how Patrick Mahomes has developed really just this level of trust with Noah Gray. And we talk about that all the time, about how important that is for Mahomes. It's been Justin Watson in the past. It's been other guys that he's developed a rapport with. Noah Gray has become a reliable target for Patrick Mahomes. And, he's got multiple touchdown catches in the last 2 weeks. That hasn't happened since George Kittle did it, I think in 2022, where you've had a tight end with multiple receiving touchdowns in back-to-back weeks. I think that's huge. And, knowing that he has established himself and is emerging as a legitimate threat offensively for Kansas City does give you, at least another, I guess, safety valve, another option for Patrick Mahomes, which
Totally
I do
agree.
think is valuable.
And it will be helpful for them too. You still got to keep the other offense off the field now because the defense is not what it was. Rick brings up a good point. Jones has the second highest pressure rate in the NFL, and that's always been a part of his game, especially when he comes up the middle. But he's not getting any help on the outside, so that pressure's not like leading to sacks for other people like it might typically lead for Jones. When you push it up the middle, you hope that the edges can get around because the quarterback can't step up. And when the quarterback can't step up because Jones is creating pressure in the middle, then the edge rushers should be able to get him more easily, and they're not doing that. So it's a good point there, Rick. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk some Royals. We got to get into this big trade. Like it's a massive blockbuster type deal, honestly.
We got to talk Shockers too, man. I know
we will.
We got to get into the Shockers. I want to talk about that game.
We will, because we got to talk about KU coming up tonight against Duke as well. So we've got the Royals. We've got college basketball still on the plate here. So keep it with us. By the way, speaking of the Shockers, Tommy, shout out to Shocker Volleyball. We'll have more time to spend on that later in the week, but they get the conference championship win at home. Are you kidding me? To make the NCAA tournament for the first time in 7 years. It's fantastic. Fantastic. Congratulations to Shocker Volleyball. We'll come back. We'll talk this Royals trade when we return. We got a voicemail on it through the Odyssey app to get to as well. Your comments still welcome. Don't go away. Sports Daily, Albrecht and Caster on a Monday.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere. Bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into the jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
310-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
All right, welcome back. Hey, if you want to listen to K-State while you're out and about today, you're not by the radio, you can do that on the Odyssey app. Pregame coverage of K-State basketball tonight begins at 3:30. You've got KU and Duke tomorrow night. You've got Wichita State, I believe, is it Wednesday or Thursday?
Thursday. It's on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so you've got that, and they play Thursday, Friday. So we've got games kind of all week, and we want to talk about some of that, and we'll get to the Shockers. We might kind of get to a KU Duke preview a little bit if we get time. So stay tuned here in the next couple hours for that. But a lot of college basketball sprinkled in through the holiday week here. All right, Tommy, let's talk about this Royals trade. So we had seen this rumor that Brady Singer, I guess, was kind of on the block because Alec Boehm's name had been thrown up with it. Jonathan India comes in now. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. The one thing that you like about it, and they have basically the same amount of control left on their contracts, both highly touted former first-round picks, both have shown flashes in this league. I can tell you that, by the WAR metric, Brady Singer has been quite a bit more valuable than Jonathan India has. It really comes down to a question of, because Jonathan India can be your leadoff hitter, right? If Jonathan India stepped into the Royals last year, right now, he would have had the second highest on-base percentage outside of Bobby Witt Jr. So for your glaringly obvious need offensively, which has been leadoff hitter, right? Jonathan India does that. So he gives you that, and that's the part of the trade that I really do like. But at the expense of Brady Singer is where it gets interesting for me. Brady Singer, before he sort of got tired last year, was leading the team leading a talented rotation, inconsistency and a lot of things before the end of the year, and he fizzled out a little bit. I do think there's a very good chance, Tommy, that the Royals would look at this and be like, man, I wish we had Brady Singer still. Now, here's the other part of that. If Brady Singer ends up being a middle to top of the rotation type player, I will say that in 2 years, I also think he's going to be a far more expensive player. Like, his ceiling is far more expensive than Jonathan India's ceiling is. So, in the long term, what are the chances the Royals keep either one of these guys for more than 2 years? Probably not that high. So while I think Brady Singer's ultimate career will be better than Jonathan India's, it's hard to compare him, pitcher position player. I do think you at least address a need through a trade, but now you have another need. They need another starter now, which they kind of did.
They've got a bunch of options. I'm all in on this trade.
What are the options, though? What are the options?
Let's see. Your options are Alec Marsh. Your options are Chris Bubich. Your options are Daniel Lynch. You've got several other
They're
guys.
not pulling Bubich out of the bullpen after.
I'm just saying, there are options. Whether or not they will or not, there are options, internal options that are on the table. Also, they could absolutely, if they wanted to, go and try to find another Michael Wacha or Michael Lorenzen or somebody like that to go and sign in free agency. I love this trade. I think this is a great trade. One note I want to point out, you mentioned in the first hour that it was a 1-for-1 trade. It wasn't. Joey Wiemer, who's an outfielder, also comes over to the Royals. So it's a 1-for-2, Singer for India and Wiemer. And I'm not sure that Wiemer projects as a major league player right now. He's probably more of a high minors type guy as of right now. But I mean, they needed a leadoff hitter. You look at his overall career OPS, Jonathan India, and it's an average to above average hitter overall. But keep in mind the relatively thin lineup that Kansas City had last season. There were only 3 batters in that lineup that were starters that were even projected to be average or above. That was Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, and Vinny Pasquantino. So you bring in a Jonathan India, then now you have 4. Now you have somebody that is reliable if he can stay healthy at the leadoff position that can set the table for your guys after you. I'm on board with this. The only question that I have that I know that they're going to be sorting out is defensively, what does it look like? Because India is a second baseman. What does that mean for Michael Massey? Will India move to maybe third base? Will he play that spot? He probably could. Could he go to the outfield and Massey stay at second? Or is that job now Jonathan India's? And I don't think we have the answer to that yet.
Well, I can tell you that their OPSs are almost identical, and this is my problem with it. Jonathan India does one thing that helps you and better than his peers, and that's his on-base percentage potentially as a leadoff hitter. But when you talk about how much better is he than Michael Massey, they had almost the exact same OPS, same batting average, same.
That's why I don't think it's a bad idea to have them on the field at the same time. I think that having maybe India play third base,
which he can do,
so he could do that, and then you've got Massey in the lineup too. I don't think it has to be in either or type scenario.
So then Maikel Garcia goes, and that's the more likely scenario I would guess, because now when you're talking about India over Maikel Garcia,
right,
you're talking about a guy who's better pretty much across the board. So yeah, somebody's moving to third, because what makes sense is to not have Maikel Garcia be an everyday player.
Correct.
But you're counting on Michael Massey being an everyday player, which I'm okay with. I'm all right with that. He got hurt last year. I wish he could have played, more games. He missed a third of the season last year, but I'm okay with that. Brady Singer is really good, right? Like he had a great year, and he's 2 years
9-13 last year. Just pointing that out.
Well, that's fine, but with pitchers, we know we got to look at more than wins and losses, right? Like, you got to look at some of the numbers and what he does for you within a game. He doesn't, hit, but like his WAR, I'm trying to look by season. Like, his WAR it was 3 times higher than India's last year, 3 times. So like, he's coming off of a 2022 year where he gave you a 3.23 ERA. He had a 3.71 ERA last year. I don't know where that ended up ranking in the American League, but it's really good. His whip is generally too high, which has always been what scared me with Brady Singer, for sure. And you guys, listen, if you've listened to this show and us go on about the Royals on and on and on, Singer is a flawed pitcher for sure. I love the style at which he pitches with, but he's a flawed pitcher. He gives up way too much traffic. But he's going to be, Ken gives this to a 17th in ERA. I appreciate that, Ken. So listen, what's 5 times 15? 75? So 17th out of 75 for your 4th starter, that's pretty damn good. And that's and the problem with it is, Ty, and again, I'm not poo-pooing the trade. Trade makes me nervous because I think it opens up a potential hole on the roster. What was the strength of the team? What was the strength of the team for the Royals last year? It was their starting pitching
for sure.
Right.
And you've got more depth in your rotation than you've had in forever, which made Brady Singer expendable. I'm okay with that. I mean, Singer, I think, projects to be your 3rd or 4th starter in your rotation. Okay, so you've already got Ragans, you've got Lugo, Waka is back. So you've got 3. And you probably, Kyle Wright, nobody's talked about him. He's going to be probably healthy enough to be able to be in that rotation next year for Kansas City. And I don't think if he wasn't, I don't think the Royals would have made this move. The thing about Brady Singer is that he's got the stuff to be an okay pitcher. But he's already, at least in my mind, he's already hit his ceiling.
Oh, but his ceiling is good. For most teams, he projects in as a number 2 or number 3. Yes.
He's been a similar to I don't know. He's been average. I think average would be the way that I would basically characterize Brady Singer. Average to actually probably slightly below average.
You think Brady Singer is a below average pitcher?
If he's facing a lineup full of left-handers, absolutely. Did you know in his career, lefties have an OPS that is 103 points higher than righties? And he's been terrible away from Kauffman Stadium. He's been 66 OPS points worse away from Kansas City. Like, both of those stats tell you over the course of his career, he can't pitch to lefties and he can't pitch outside of his home stadium. That's been the knock on him throughout his entire career. I'm not saying he's not a good pitcher.
You just said yes, you did. You just said you didn't think he was a good pitcher. You said he's below average.
He's average to below average. Like in basically, where is he? Where is he great? Where is he?
Tell me what qualifies an average pitcher.
Your WHIP, your ERA,
he is WHIP, ERA, WAR. No matter what you look at. I'm telling you right now, of the 75 starting pitchers in the American League next year, he's in the top 20 of almost all of those categories. You want to bet?
Come on.
I'm looking right at it.
Come on.
Waka with his 3.5 WAR last year, Tommy, was 10th best in the American League. 10th. Lugo and Ragans were 2 and 3. But if 3.5 is 10th, Singer's was 3.1.
I don't know. I'd rather have a consistent piece to start off your lineup than just an automatic out, which is what the Royals had basically all of last season, than a 4th starting pitcher.
India makes them better, but there is a balancing act. So if in one hand you've got offense and in one hand you've got pitching, if you just lowered your pitching, which they did, Brady Singer's replacement value is not nothing, right?
It's not nothing.
Your offense has to be that much better, and it might be because India is exactly what this offense needs. Not, if we talked about it for 5 months last year, how this team felt like it was a leadoff hitter away. And it was a great offense most of the season, productive, until those players got hurt. The one thing India does not do for you, and this is another thing to think about and why I don't think they need to be done offensively, is India doesn't solve if Vinny or Salvi or Bobby Witt Jr. miss time, right? Like, he doesn't really help you there.
That they were trying to fill.
Well, it was when Vinny Pasquantino was out.
But those are 2 separate things.
Right, that's what I'm saying. They don't need to be done.
By the way, Brady Singer, his win-loss record in 2024 was 60th in
I'm not talking about win-loss record, Tommy. It's 2024. You got to look at the ERA. You have to look at
ERA. 46th in his WHIP last year.
Tommy, how many years did Felix Hernandez finish under 500 in wins and losses, but was a Cy Young? A lot. Like, wins and losses for pitchers. I watch. That is not the thing you look at with pitchers. You have to look at the metrics.
52 ERA in 2023. A WHIP of almost.
What did he have in 2022?
3.23 ERA, 114 WHIP. He had a good year in 2022. He's had 2 average to below average years back to back. It made him expendable. Don't get me wrong. Brady Singer in 2022 was a good pitcher on a bad Royals rotation. He was about the only bright spot in that rotation for Kansas City. He became expendable as soon as they acquired Lugo, as soon as they acquired Waka, and then obviously they made the trade in 2023 for Cole Reagans. Had Singer pitched up to where those three guys were, and really specifically Reagans and Lugo, he wouldn't be as expendable, but he became expendable. The Royals saw him as a depth piece in their rotation. That's fine. He was a depth piece last year, but this is a situation where they had a glaring need and they needed to go and fill that leadoff spot, which, by the way, I seem to recall you and I constantly during the regular season were always lamenting about the leadoff spot for Kansas City. We were rarely lamenting about what was happening at the bottom of the rotation for Kansas City.
Because it was a strength. My point is you're potentially taking that strength away. It can be.
Have depth. They have options in that rotation. It's not like it's Brady Singer or bust and they've got nobody else who can fill that role. They do.
I've got to be crystal clear. And I said this right at the beginning. I don't hate the trade. I'm okay taking the risk. But losing Brady Singer hurts this team, and they've got to find a way to replace him. And, just hoping that somebody steps up isn't going to get it done. Now the team needs to go find another pitcher to plug into the rotation. Is that easier to find than a leadoff hitter? I don't know yet. Like, we'll leave that up to JJ Picollo. There's definitely a path where in totality, if they get Singer replaced and they've added Jonathan India as a leadoff hitter, that I'm like, yeah, that was successful. But I don't think you can. What I don't think you want to do if you're the Royals is take away that strength, cut one hand off to help the other. Like, okay, great. You got your leadoff hitter, but it cost you your this starting pitcher. Now go find another starting pitcher. And then I'm good. With it. All
the fan base has done, and rightfully so, before last season was talk about the lack of aggressiveness from the front office.
I agree.
This, I think, continues to signify just the importance for JJ Picollo and John Sherman to not get complacent and to not say, you know what, we're okay with the guy that has lost more games than he's won over the last 2 years to be our fourth starting pitcher, and we'll go figure out leadoff somewhere else. I'm totally okay with this move because I feel like it addresses a need that is glaring for them. I think that I wouldn't be shocked to see a scenario where you've got maybe even both Alec Marsh and Chris Bubic in your starting rotation to start the year next year. I know you said they're not going to move Bubic out of the bullpen.
I wouldn't be my first option. Wouldn't be my first
choice. If they did. I mean, if they've got Hunter Harvey healthy and they've got Lucas Erceg in the closer role, you could move Bubic back up into the starting rotation. And then you're anchored by your three studs, really your two studs, with Lugo and Reagans, just like last year. Alec Marsh was up and down, but there were times he was good last year. That's probably not the way the rotation will end the season, but I'm okay with starting the season like that if you've got a productive leadoff hitter in Jonathan India.
Yeah, I didn't intend for this to go into a discussion on whether Brady Singer was any good. 30th across baseball, across all of baseball last year, 30th in ERA, by the way, 46th across all of baseball. There's about 100 qualified. No, there's about 150 qualified starters. And he had the 46th best whip.
Cool.
That's not a below average pitcher, Tommy. Brady Singer is good.
Yes, it is. His ERA a season ago was over 5. You want to tell me that's good?
His ERA 2 seasons ago was 3.22 and one of the best in baseball.
So he's averaging out to be an average okay pitcher. That's okay. The Royals needed him. They don't need him now.
He was good 2 out of the last 3 years. He was top 50, top 30 ERA in baseball.
Over it. It's done. It's he's gone. He's at Cincinnati, and that's great. They filled a need that they had to have in a leadoff hitter. That was a glaring hole that they had in their lineup. They addressed it. They got it taken care of. I appreciate and applaud the aggressiveness from JJ Picollo. I think it's an outstanding trade.
You know who else this isn't good for? For me, Brady Singer. Brady Singer going to Cincinnati in that bandbox. That is not like going from, could you imagine like Brady Singer pitches to contact going from Kaufman to Cincinnati? Oh man, that's going to be tough. That kind of sucks for Singer on that side of it. I like Jonathan India, always have, and he does fill a need. And man,
by the way, he was the rookie of the year 4 years ago in the National League.
Yeah, and he hasn't been that good since. And I'm not. I don't. What are we doing? I don't want to knock on. I don't want to knock on Jonathan India. Jonathan India is a fine player and he fills the need for the Royals. They better find a way to continue to have starting pitching be a strength. That's all I'm saying. And they lost a starting pitcher and a good one, not a below average one. And they need to replace him now in the rotation because
they will. They have internal options to do that.
Let's go. Okay. All right. We'll do this more tomorrow because we're running out of time. Let's talk about the Shockers when we return. 869-1240 is the number. Wichita State with its most impressive win of the season this weekend. In case you missed it, we'll talk about it next. Don't go away. Sports Daily coming right back.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12.
Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW.
12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
831001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. It is Sports Daily here on KFH. Glad to be with you. All right, we'll get more into that Royals trade. We open a big old can of worms on that tomorrow, but don't want to miss the opportunity to, real quick, St. Louis, Tommy, most impressive win of the year for the Shockers. Everything goes right in that game. You just love it. Like, that was a fantastic performance. No Avila for St. Louis, but I don't think Avila is making up a 25-point difference in that game.
Yeah. I think doing it without Ronnie DeGray was even that much more impressive for Wichita State. It gets me really excited for the Thanksgiving game against Minnesota. They've got a real big opportunity in front of them, and I feel good about them going into that game. They looked really complete and really effective on Friday night.
And it was kind of Bijan Cortez who slid in, but the option was Washington and Beverly, so it kind of went 4-round one. In the game, and Ballard only gave him. Here's the other thing: no Beverly. Tommy Ballard only gave him 16 minutes. I love it. We were both so excited in that game as it was happening, just like holy cow! And you had to stay up really late to be able to watch it. But we'll have more on that. They've got games coming up this week. We're going to come right back. We'll wrap it up next.
Who makes your first impression all it can be? Pave the way. Pave the way.
Are you looking to pave your parking lot or driveway but aren't sure who to call?
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSCW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
31001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems
Why are they hiding it?
and real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
On the way out here, let's get Ken's voicemail real quick on the Royals. Meant to get this. So, Jad, let's hear that real quick.
Good morning, gents. Hey, all is well. The Jayhawks won, and the Royals have a leadoff hitter. Have a great day.
Amen. Thank you, Ken.
I like it. I like it. I can't. We got to talk more about that. Trey. I didn't know we were going to get that far down that rabbit hole, but we'll do that tomorrow. We got a lot to talk about tomorrow. We'll have Dan Israel to talk more about the Chiefs. Don't forget K-State hoops today, 6:30. You've got Monday Night Football moving over to KNSS just in case because women's basketball is here on KFH at 7:15. Thanks for being with us. For Jad, for Tommy, I'm Jacob. See you tomorrow.